This is definitely going to be in part with a longer video essay series, which I will hopefully elaborate on further. We're going to talk about that one thing I keep complaining about for the longest time, even in combination with what I do with my worry. Not so much the duration feature, oh, that's a very much a luxury of all of it. We're going to talk about 5 things that make the slice of life genre very ironic to consider. There's a whole list I have for the thumbnail that I can actually talk over if quickly in five sessions, which I'll probably definitely do in the video essay at least. It may not be this video directly, but very quickly for 7 to 8 minutes, we're going to talk about one of those things, and that is the idea that storytelling is only permanent, it's only inevitable if interest is in demand. There's the idea that you can come across a story without a plot. And this is supposed to be literally impossible, but there's a demand for that interest, right? So it's a little bit of a loophole there. But the reason that plot is important is to create interest and create conflict, which is necessary for any story to function. However, there are people, controversial philosophers like myself, Ashley philosophers for that matter, who demand a story have no plot for its own inherent mission and reasoning. And that's supposed to be psychopathic and crazy and paradoxical, right? Why would you want a story to have conflict if conflict is crucial for a thing to work? It's not that you want something to go wrong, but to create that interest in that compelling story to literally function as a story, it needs conflict anyways. This is a controversial philosophy I had for many, many years, since like high school years, since middle school years. I was like this for abstract philosophy reasons. Story does not depend on the interest of and the interest and demand of inevitable plot if in conflict if you can function, because this is what makes storytelling very weird at this point. If I was going to revolutionize storytelling, that'd be a little different. I was meant to do that, and even my teachers were like, well, you can go prove it, Cashman. Prove you can make a story without a plot or a structure. And it's like, or even revolutionize structures as well. There is a few random examples I can make about this. There's a product they sell for soap, an 18-in-1 soap item known as Dr. Bronner's soap, versatile soap. It's 18-in-1 uses. You can use it to clean things, you can use it to take showers, bathe, baths, clean other things, use it to make other products as well, homemade. 18-in-1. It's a very versatile product. It's expensive as hell. It's even got a certain element to it that I can explain in a moment, which is right now. Dr. Bronner's bottles not only are versatile as hell, they are the definition of word salad on the labeling. This is the marketing that they use. They have a bunch of what seems like schizophrenic, paranoid writing over it, containing religious texts and even some weird ways of using language. It is the epitome of word salad, and I'm going to explain in 2 different ways, not just the communication trauma, obviously, but also what it means to be. So I have to get into the Lucky Star anime right in a second. So like, basically, yes, I have trauma with communication skills because I had a controversial way to use an outlet instead of being creative to use an outlet. But communication wasn't just my trauma; it was a way to live in the moment for myself. And that was when I read Dr. Bromer's bottle in the middle of the night to get most anything. Because if I read like a little candy bar or something with less labeling, that's not living in the moment. It's not enough text to live in the moment as an outlet. You know, creativity should be an outlet, right? And this very quickly brings us to the Lucky Star anime. And Hyuga could be in there a little bit. So could Wandering Witch. So could some other anime like Ones Within, other kinds of slice life anime style in the genre. The reason, not even Daigon can fit in this one, but like the reason I mentioned Lucky Star particularly is because at forefront the anime seems like it's very boring, and there's no reason to be existing if it's just about the ordinary life. I mentioned Hot Diggity Demon's review of Powerpuff Girls reboot for a reason. He drives me crazy when he explains that the Powerpuff Girls, and I'm going to go back to Lucky Star in a second. When he describes that Powerpuff Girls reboot is not is supposed the whole point of entertainment is to escape from reality. When that reboot didn't do that in particular, it wasn't so much that he was going to expose it for being cringe, but that particular argument was already not necessary. It was like he just described other than nostalgic pandering why reboots are still their own truth. They can elementize certain forms of creativity and living the moment that don't have to exist even if it was going to ruin the original casting of these reboots from the original source material. You can even say even things like uh, I shouldn't mention this in the same video, but when Velma aired on Netflix and or it was like HBO Max. When that aired, people were like, "There's no reason this should exist. It's just going to be pandering to things that don't have to happen. Its source material is completely ruined. Yada yada yada." Say what you will about that show, it still existed for a reason, whether you like it or not. That can include living in the moment. Bringing this back from Diggy Demon's review of Pop Up Girls reboot, he's not right in particular about it not being necessary for escape of reality. Well, that in itself, like, if it was going to be escape from reality, that wasn't the reason it was there. The interest and the demand wasn't for it to be escape from reality. It was serving a different mission, a different purpose. Even if it was only a downright down bad, low-key bad show in reboot for Powerpuff Girls. Diggity Demon missed the entire point of something being in that moment. And I bring this one more time back to Lucky Star, the anime. Is this a boring anime because you only get to see things you do with your friends? Because let me tell you, not everyone not only doesn't always have those kind of friends, they don't even get to see life that way in the perspective, that perception that includes with it. No one in their right mind would think that that's not normal, right? It is normal to have friends like that who talk about boring things. Everyone in reality gets to do that, right? No. Because there are realities that are not supposed to be boring or lack lives or shouldn't needs that aren't even the point. There's a reason why this comes across as being ironic and philosophical. When you're the exact opposite of what that would imply about people, it doesn't have to only be relatable, but even when it's not relatable, there's something even deeper and darker about this. When you can read a Dr. Bronner's soap bottle in the middle of the night to live in the moment and be present with things, looking at the edges of a web page on the internet, trying to live in the moment in a controversial, philosophical, trivial way. And even when you try to just enjoy something, when your life is so entertaining, it's anything that's boring is entertainment in itself, and the vice versa being the norm. This is why people cannot stand the slice of life genre. It's ironic. It's not the idea that slice of life can't be entertaining, it's that fiction is not the only demanded interest for things. Storylines aren't the only demand for things to be entertaining. Fiction isn't the only demand for storyline to be entertaining. This is not because you're bored, it's because you don't know how to live life on the terms of the status quo. This is very, very, very ironic to live life like this. For the longest time, if you want to meditate for 12 hours straight in the middle of a park and then live your life, to say the least, that's quite stunning, right? Who wants to spend 12 hours meditating in a park and then be ambitious? You want to be ambitious first, right? But not everyone knows how to live like that because the slice of life genre is way too ironic.